Hello and welcome to episode 16 of Anime Territory. I'm your host this week, Johnny Ruhal, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Benjamin Ham City Shabbing. This week, we watched Princess Jellyfish, which is available to stream on Funimation, or if you're us, you can pull the DVD off the shelf and watch it that way. So, this is going to be sort of a special episode in our anime history. This was something that originally we watched with a friend of ours when I was starting to get back into anime. This was the first one that really captured you, right? Like,
yes, I was mentioned it in other podcasts.
well, I know, but they might be listening to just this episode.
This was the very first anime, basically the very first anime I ever seen.
Yeah. Not counting Pokemon, not counting things you didn't realize were anime, not counting things that you might have watched.
Not things that you were watching while I was there that I wasn't paying attention to.
This is a show you watched all the way through with us. Mm-hmm. And it was like...
Actually, I think we watched the first, 9 episodes, and then we all had to go home because it was 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I finished it at home.
Okay. So we watched a lot of it together. Mm-hmm. When we were 18, 19-ish.
Yeah, probably.
Was it senior year of high school?
It was around that time. I don't remember.
Yeah. Either way, it's important to us. So,
yep.
I think more important to you than to me. Mm-hmm. But, this was, I think the way you worded it the other day is this is how you could, this is when you're like, oh, wait.
This is what anime could be?
Anime can be this. It's not just Naruto and
Dragon Ball and One Piece.
I know. Let's not get into... Let's not get into talking about those too much. We're just going to alienate our audience.
You can get, romantic comedy dramas in anime?
Hell yeah, we can, man. Hell yeah,
I'm in.
Sign me up for that shit. I want to take that. I want to put it in a needle, tie something around my arm, and just inject it straight into my bloodstream.
I think you're describing heroin.
Yeah, heroines and their love interests.
Crack?
Also, there's a little bit of crack mixed in there. I mean, no, okay.
We should probably get off that subject.
Yeah, I don't want to be put on any list, though I probably am on some lists, just some of the weird things I Google sometimes. Pro tip, don't Google how to sneak a chimpanzee past the Canadian border. Don't do that. Just don't Google it. It's just going to cause you trouble down the road.
That was kind of an episode of Frasier, except that instead of a chimpanzee, it was a dog.
Okay. Be honest, I don't think I've ever seen a full episode of Frasier. Or if I had, I was very young.
It's good stuff.
I'm sure it is.
Kelsey Grammer?
Yep, I'm sure.
David
I saw that episode of Kelsey Grammer on 30 Rock when they were pulling schemes. He'd buy a cake and have it say, "Are you sure it's spelled this way?" It's like, "Yes, it's spelled Frasier. I should know. I'm Frasier." Then he would take it back to the bakery and say, "How could you misspell my name? It's obviously Frasier. Everybody knows that." And then they would get full refunds. I don't know. It was a great episode of 30 Rock.
I feel like if Kelsey Grammer walked into a cake shop, at least back then, you could probably just get a free cake.
The point was to return it. They had some sort of discount or something, and then they could return it for the full cost. I don't know. They were doing
I'm just saying. I feel like he could have just gotten a free cake.
It wasn't about the cake. It was about the money and about the grift. I think he became addicted to grifts after that.
Oh, he became a grifter.
Yeah. We should stop talking about Frasier. Princess Jellyfish. Let's just get into some spoiler-free general impressions. What do you think of this show?
Okay, so when we first started, I told you I'm a little afraid this isn't going to hold up.
Yes.
My fears were washed away after the second episode. This show's great. I love it.
It's good.
Yeah. I think it does have a couple issues for me.
Oh yeah, there are some issues that we'll get into in a more spoiler talking.
But overall, it's just a fun, sometimes heartfelt, just great show, I think.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. It's very good stuff. To kind of give again, try to stay spoiler free here. General not impressions, not how we feel about it, because I think we made it clear that we actually really like this show. But the premise of the show, just to kind of hook people here. What do you think premise-wise? What's the premise like?
Well, the premise is you have your main character named Tsukimi. She is a shy 18, 19-year-old girl. She can be basically described as like a NEET/otaku who is obsessed with jellyfish.
Yep.
She moves to Tokyo into an apartment with a bunch of other NEETS otakus who all have, again, they're all otaku, so they all have kind of their interest.
Yep.
And they all are basically afraid of men. So no boys are allowed at the apartment.
I would say more than just men, it's just they're afraid of normies. So like continue on with the synopsis. That's our setup for our main character.
But anyways, the main part that gets the story going is that she goes to a pet shop. She sees this cute jellyfish named Clara. She notices that she's in a what do you call those things? Tanks.
Yep.
With another jellyfish that could kill her. So she tries to confront the shop clerk, whatever, but that doesn't help. And then as this happened, a stylish woman shows up and like buys the jellyfish for her and brings it back to her apartment. Lo and behold, that stylish woman she meets is actually like a college boy.
Yep. Cross-dressing dude.
Stuff happens.
Yeah, and then the show goes on from there. Their friendship forms.
But
the
that's what gets the plot going.
Yeah. So, like, to kind of go into that a little bit, I would say that she was just as intimidated by the stylish quote-unquote woman than she was by the stylish young boy. Like, it was, hey, these people have the world figured out and they can just act normal and we can't, so we're just going to freeze up around people like that or weird them out by stating a bunch of weird jellyfish facts that they can't decipher. Though it made perfect sense.
Yeah, I mean, perfect sense. Yeah. Us jellyfish experts.
Yeah, because that's what you are. Yep. A jellyfish expert.
Ask me any jellyfish question.
Is a jellyfish a fish?
Yeah, it's in its name.
Okay. I think we've just proved to the world whether or not you're a jellyfish expert.
It's in its name.
That's
not
all,
a fish. They wouldn't call it a jellyfish.
They
call it like a jelly bug or something.
I think we've answered our question. I won't say if we answered it positively or negatively, but we've answered the question. Okay, so this might be a new recurring bit. I wrote down in the last episode we had like a sophisticated description of the movie Frag Time. Yeah. So we've come up with a sophisticated description of Princess Jellyfish here. It is an exploration of defying gender norms and discovering inner beauty in a world dominated by perceived beauty, which is sort of accurate, but
not quite.
Doesn't encompass the whole show.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is about like, hey, just because you don't think you're beautiful, everyone can be beautiful. It just sometimes it takes a little bit of work, or it just takes the right state of mind to flaunt your confidence. If you're gonna wear rags, it's gonna look like you're wearing rags. It's about trying to also just be presentable too. Like people that care about looks, unfortunately, it shouldn't work this way, but unfortunately, if you want them to take you seriously, you have to care a little bit about it as well. Otherwise, they will dismiss you, which is sad. And again, I don't necessarily believe that people should have to, dress fancy or anything to be taken seriously, because they're still people. But it is unfortunately a sad truth that a lot of people will dismiss people that don't put in the effort to.
I think kind of the main thing is though that you have to put in the effort though.
Yeah.
That making you look good might be kind of like the painting they put on top of the actual message. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like the main point is that you have to put in an effort if you want something done or you want to save something.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can kind of throw in it's not really a personal story, and I won't give too many details, but the place where I work, my day job, because don't know if this is a shocker to anyone, but we don't make any money doing this.
What? Why are we doing this then?
Because it's fun. I like doing it. It's my dream to have a podcast since, I don't know, like 2 years ago. Anyway, at the place I work, we had an open hiring event where it's like people can walk in, do interviews, because we're always hiring, because there's always people that can't quite make it, and so we're like, okay, we need more people on the phone, so let's have an open hiring event. My manager was one of the ones conducting the interviews, and she said that one person showed up in shorts and Crocs to the interview.
And he got the job immediately.
I have no idea if this person, I don't even know if they're male or female or something in between, or something beyond. They, no idea if they got the job or not, but it's just in an interview scenario, if you show up lickings like, oh, I don't care about my appearance, I'm not going to put in the work in, then how do we expect you to put in the work to do your job correctly? Now, that being said, I work from home. I work in shorts and no shoes all the time. So I sent a picture to my boss and my group chat of me wearing shorts, no socks or shoes, and then a button-down shirt, tie, and blazer, saying that I was all ready for my interview. So you know, the actual wearing of the shorts and Crocs, I don't think anybody's going to care. I mean, we have a dress code at work, but we work from home, so nobody really cares about that. It's the fact that you put in the work to be presentable, and hopefully that will translate.
Which I feel that's kind of a message a lot of people tell you. It's like, dress for the job you want, or like, you have to make yourself look presentable, or else they're not going to take you seriously. Yeah,
and I think that's sort of the message that they get here. Maybe there's a little bit of a datedness to it that doesn't quite hold up. But again, I think the overall message is that there's beauty in all of us, and it's just even though if you don't think it's there, maybe you just need to put in a little bit of effort to, you know,
unlock it or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Again, I think the right spirit is there, maybe not the exact right message.
Execution might not be there either, maybe.
Yeah, but the heart of it, I think, is they were trying to get to it. And I mean, this is only 11 episodes, and I think you read that there are 17 volumes of the manga.
So they might go into it a little bit more.
Yeah. Because a volume is normally several chapters, so it's, you know, that might have only covered 2 or 3 volumes or something.
I wouldn't know. I don't read.
Okay. Well, I guess I can get to this. I was actually planning this question later. This is the question I kept thinking about beforehand. Do you think, would you read the manga for Princess Jellyfish?
Probably.
Okay.
It's only 17 volumes.
I'm putting that...
Again, my very little knowledge of manga, that's not a whole lot.
It's not.
Okay.
I mean, it's a good chunk. I think there are, I would say that probably translate into like 100 chapters or something.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah, but a chapter...
How many pages?
That's the question. A chapter can be 11 pages. A chapter can be 40 pages.
And I'm assuming a manga means pictures.
Yep.
Okay, so that means less words.
Yep.
So it's assumed
Here,
it's
I'll get you a visual aid.
Oh,
I'll get you a visual aid.
Are you going to bring out the Nausicaa book or something else?
No.
Because that Nausicaa book is huge. I don't know if I want to read it. Alright, I think I just got to stall time now. Yeah, I don't know.
Here are the first 3 volumes of Berserk.
Okay, let's take a look. First of all,
you got to read it the other way around. Japanese people read left to right. Actually, they read up, down, and then right to left.
Is this how this book starts?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so I'm sure that page-turning audio is going to be great, but they're really quick reads. I probably read the first volume in like 20 minutes. So
yeah, I probably would.
Okay. Christmas list noted.
Gotcha.
It's probably also online somewhere too, but
Probably.
Either way. But yeah, so you would. This might be your transition into reading manga. If we can get you to.
Maybe. Again, I don't read though, so.
That's it's fair, I guess.
Why read when I can watch?
Because your imagination can
I
be
have
a
no
lot better
imagination.
than animation at times. The budget's not there.
I don't have an imagination.
Okay, so that got moved up. I think we're ready to kind of get into spoilers.
Okay.
We can talk about the characters as a kind of transition into here.
Yeah.
So we've talked about our main character, Tsukimi.
Yep.
And then the high fashionable woman that is actually a cross-dressing boy. His name is Kuronosuke. As far as we can tell, he's not trans. I think he still identifies as a male. It's just he likes cross-dressing. It's his hobby. Again, I don't know. Maybe that'll be expanded upon in the manga. But he definitely, I would say, was attracted to girls and is now kind of bored of them.
I think he kind of points out that he's kind of just done with like the popular crowd, I guess. Well,
so he was very, very popular in high school. And
with the ladies.
He is distinctly not a virgin, that is said. And he's just kind of like, I'm just kind of done with romance, you know, because he was too popular with the girls.
Yeah. I don't know how that feels.
No, you don't. Don't lie. And then once he met Tsukimi and saw that, you know, he kind of stopped hanging out with his friends who were already fashionable.
He's like, you're more interesting. I'm going to hang out with you.
He gets a call from one of his friends. It's like, I can't get this outfit figured out. And he's like, nah, I'm going to pass today. It's more fun taking a diamond in the rough and polishing it.
You guys are basic.
You're easy mode. I need the hard mode here. But he kind of like we said, he helps her save that jellyfish or whatever, and then he passes out in her bedroom. And when he wakes up, he's like, I guess he had ditched all of his clothes, so it's just like, oh yeah, I know I'm a dude. Did I not say that? Well, there's a scene where she says he's like a different species than him or than her. Tsukimi says, you're like a different species than me.
And then I gave you a wink because we already saw it. I'm like,
Yeah. But and at that point he said, oh, I guess you've already figured it out, thinking, she knows I'm a boy.
Not that
not that she's a high fashionable person, which is what Tsukimi meant. But yeah, there's no boys allowed in the dorm. They are like very protective of that. They don't want like they don't even want gay men to move in because they like rejected their application.
Doesn't matter if you're gay, dead, or something else, or a baby. No men.
They're all men. Okay, so he is the son of
a former prime minister.
Is his dad a former prime minister? His uncle is the current prime minister.
Yeah, I think he's a former prime minister.
Okay. His dad's like still involved in the government, and his older brother, who's like 30-something, is still involved in the government.
He's his dad's secretary, I think they say.
Yeah.
At least in the wiki.
Yeah.
It's also should point out that his brother and him are half brothers.
Yes, they're half brothers. His mom was like an actress or something that his dad had an affair with.
I think maybe theater.
Yeah.
Actor.
Yeah. His dad had an affair with. And he lived with his mom for a while, but now he doesn't know where she's at because she left him with the dad when he was young. But he like idolized his mom, and you know, I think a part of him, his mom wished that he was
a girl,
and I think a part of him wishes that too, just because then he can.
Also,
it's okay that he's into cross-dressing. I don't know.
And it also might be like a way that he can kind of connect with his mom that he no longer sees.
Yeah.
Him dressing up as almost like her fashion.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the... So that's kind of... I don't want to say that's the reason he cross-dresses, because I'm sure there's lots of reasons, but that's part of it.
Also, he looks fabulous.
He does look fabulous. Oh, but like, and a part of a reason why he does it is because he does not want to be a politician. So it's like, nobody will take me seriously if I do this.
Yeah, if I dress up as a girl, nobody's going to want to...
Nobody's going to expect me to be
in politics.
Involved in politics, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We've mentioned his half-brother, so we'll go ahead. He's the next character I have listed. His name is Shu. S-H-U. Shu. He... I don't know, he's just a... underappreciated glasses coons.
Basically, yeah.
But he saw, when he was a young boy, he saw his dad and Kuranosuke's mom making out at a play. And it kind of traumatized him.
It was only second base.
It's only second base is something his dad told him. Because Kuranosuke tried to blackmail his dad with that information to do something, and it's like, it doesn't really work as black because it's only second base. It's traumatizing for a kid, sure, but you're not going to get very far with it.
He's kind of afraid of women. Also a virgin.
Yes. He sees Tsukimi when she's all dolled up and is like,
hello,
is that your friend? And then when he sees her again later when she's not dolled up and does not recognize her, which is, that's part of what I don't like about Shu. He's just kind of... Because Tsukimi kind of likes him too, but...
Yeah. I don't know. He can kind of play off as kind of oblivious. He might just be kind of like an oblivious person.
Yeah. But it's just a little bit like, come on, man.
Come on.
And he like did not have a very high opinion of the people of her and the people she lived with when she dropped off some stuff.
That's true.
And it's just like, come on, man. They're people. Don't describe them that way. He gets a little bit redeemed.
To be fair, they were...
Oh, they were being weird as hell.
Yeah. It's like chasing Tsukimi with like ghost trinket things. I don't know. Ghoul.
Yeah, they were like pretending to be hopping zombies or something. Some Japanese.
He has a little bit of a point to be like, what the heck is wrong with these people?
Let's see. I would think... Again, there's a little bit of a thing there. You can definitely tell that Tsukimi likes him a bit because I don't think she necessarily knew that. And then he starts. I don't think I actually wrote down the girl's name. He starts getting pursued by
Shoko,
a woman called Shoko
Inari,
who works for a development company that's trying to like tear down the neighborhood. Buy up the neighborhood, tear it down, and put in nicer
real estate developer.
Yeah, real estate developer. So she's trying to get close to him because his dad's a former prime minister.
Try to get them on their side. To speed up the process.
And they're like, you need to be vague about this meeting. Don't say you're for or against it yet, sort of thing. And she. I wrote down at one point, I don't like that bitch. Because she, like, drugs him to make him...
She drugs and blackmails him.
Yeah. She drugs him, takes her to her apartment, hotel room, something like that. And, like, takes pictures of him as if they had sex when he was passed out. And they did not. And then it's him trying to be like, leave me alone. And she's like, but look at these pictures. So she's blackmailing.
Yes.
He's just trying as hard as possible to avoid her or to like...
avoid her until she's like, okay, I'll avoid you. He's like, no, wait, come back.
But yeah, because she says at one point, it's like, let me tell you something that you haven't figured out yet. You like that I'm doing this. You could just walk away and be nothing else like it. Like you... And he's like, what? No. I'm walking away now. And this is the moment where it's like, this girl's growing on me.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I approve of the stuff that she does, but...
that's what I had the same feeling of last time I watched it, though. I'm like, oh man, she's a bitch. Oh, she's a bitch.
Yeah. But she's also like, you can tell from at least one scene that she has been leaning on a lot of men for like favors and stuff like that. So... but you also see in this one that she starts to be like a little huffy, like, well, why is he not interested?
I just want to say it, like, she pretends to like die, and he comes rushing in. She's like, ha, got ya.
Yeah, because he was trying to call her because she had started her turn of being like, okay, well now I'm gonna ignore you.
Yeah,
and he's like, wait, no, don't take it that way. That's not, I'm not an improper person sort of thing. So he called her. She was like really drunk from meeting with clients or something, and said something about having too many, and he couldn't quite make out what it was. And then she like passed out or went to sleep for a second, and he's like, I gotta go check up on her because she might be in a bad position or something.
She might be mad because I just dumped her.
But so she was like, she wasn't out for long because she's like, what does he think I'm? As if I commit suicide over being dumped by him. And she saw it. She had like bottles of like vitamins, so she's like, oh, I'll pull a prank on him. And she had like a spilled bottle. Yeah. And then he shows up and he's like, oh no. And then she starts laughing. It's like, just vitamins, got you. Were you baited?
Were you baited? Did I get you?
And he slaps her and she's like, all right, I'm done. Walks away.
She's like, no, come back.
That's when I think there were signs before that she kind of liked his weird attitude, his shyness towards women or whatever. But that's when she's full blown like, okay, yep, she's definitely. If you weren't picking up the signs now, they're pretty blatant.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. So that's like kind of Shu's
and
character.
Yeah.
Some of the other characters we've got are Mayaya. She is obsessed with the Three Kingdoms like history,
samurais and stuff.
Yeah, always making like references and comparisons to people from the story of the Three Kingdoms.
Mm-hmm. We should mention she lives at the apartment that Suki lives at, and they call themselves the Sisterhood.
Yeah, the Sisterhood. So
and there were no mention of traveling pants.
None whatsoever.
So
there could be other
sisterhood. It's a different sisterhood.
It's more taken to be like a nun's convent.
Yeah.
I mean, these characters don't really have arcs per se. They're just kind of there, and they have the same arc as Tsukimi, which is, hey, the Kuranosuke gives them makeovers at one point, and it's like, see, look, you can be normal people, and go out, and you don't have to turn to stone when normal people talk to you, sort of thing.
There's not much to say.
There's Bamba, who is 8, quote unquote. She's born on February 29th in a leap
born
year.
On a leap year, so she's 8 years old.
So most of these people are in the Tsukimi is in like 18, but most of these women are in their early 30s. Yeah. So Bamba,
she's into lots and lots of trains.
Yeah, she likes trains. She's a Rail Wars fan.
Mm-hmm. She also has a huge afro.
Yeah, she's never see her eyes. Huge afro. You don't see her eyes.
Really short.
Yeah, she's fairly short too. There's Gigi, who's very quiet, and she is into old men. That's her thing.
Sorry, she's into silver foxes.
Silver foxes, yes.
I like Gigi.
Gigi's funny. She's just. Anytime she talks about old men, it's just like what is
It was like the point where like, oh yeah, our neighbor just moved away. It's like, damn.
He was aging so well.
I just really liked her.
There's Chiyoko, which is the owner of the building's daughter, which the owner of the building looks exactly like her.
Yeah. She's the manager of the building.
Yeah, because the mom is gone or whatever.
Yeah. She's in Korea doing something.
Yeah, I think she's been traveling around. Yeah. That one time when she was on the phone, she was saying that I think she was going to move to Korea.
Oh, okay. I feel like they said why she was in Korea, but I totally forgot. It doesn't matter.
I think she's got an obsession with somebody too.
Like with Bao or something. It's not important.
It's really not. But she is really into like kimono era clothing. She makes her own kimonos and she dresses up like dolls and kimonos.
She's into like dolls / like old Japanese culture, like really into like old architecture as well, just that type of culture.
She reminds me of that one character from Chihaya Furu.
Yeah, that
was really into that sort of thing, but a little bit taken to the extreme.
I got you.
The fun recurring bit with Chihiko is that anytime that Kuranosuke gives them makeovers, he does not give her a makeover. She's already like dressed up nice. And
it's all about framing.
It's about framing. If you put you wearing a kimono in a group of NEETS, it's going to look like you're a weirdo.
Yeah.
If you put you in a group of people dressed normally, they're going to think, oh, this woman's rich and wears kimonos as a fashion statement.
Fashion statement, yeah.
So it's all about perspective.
Mm-hmm.
There's Yoshia Yoshio. That is the driver for Kuranosuke's family.
Yeah. He's also a family friend of
Shu. He's been friends with Shu since they were kids. He's obsessed with Mercedes-Benz.
They never say Mercedes, just Benz.
They definitely have said Mercedes.
He's a fan of the Benz, so I like this guy.
There's Clara, who is a jellyfish
/ narrator.
A real jellyfish in the show and a fake jellyfish narrator.
Yeah. Clara's great.
We made a video a while ago.
God, that was so long ago.
We had a different channel that it was actually a friend of ours that we would help on, and the end cap on the episodes, it's always like
it's the commercial break things.
Yeah, it's Clara says commercial break, and then a voice says Clara, and then it comes back and it's and now for the next part.
Yeah,
and then it says the word tequila,
like the song.
But we took that bit and we just had you going,
"Who's that jellyfish?"
It's Clara. It's you going like, "It's Clara."
That was like the first YouTube video I ever made.
No, that was after the two other ones we had on that channel. Either way,
that was just a running joke we had the first time we watched it. Was just like, oh, it's the Pokemon. It's like, name that Pokemon. It's just name that jellyfish. It was always Clara.
So, any other character? I mean, we didn't really talk about the dad much, but
there's also, I don't think they ever say her name. Again, she's not important, but it's Ju-on. It's the reclusive artist that lives there.
Yes. There's an artist that we never actually see. She's a manga artist.
Specializes in boy love.
Yeah, boys love. BL. And they sometimes help her like finish up her deadline and stuff. But some of them have never seen her. She barely comes out of her room.
Yeah, she's a recluse / work schedule / nocturnal.
Yeah.
They have like high regard for her anytime they like.
Yeah, they pass like messages to her like, how should we proceed? And they put a slip of paper under her door and she'll write on it in like calligraphy back. Like at one point after Tsukimi realized that Kuranosuke was a boy, they sent a message like, hypothetically, if somebody were to let a boy in here by accident, what should their punishment be? And she just responds, she just covers it, death.
She gets it.
We've talked about what happens with with the kind of the side plot, Shu and
that's your B plot is Shu.
But the A plot is talked a little bit about it, but Tsukimi and Kuranosuke are kind of becoming friends. And then Tsukimi sort of likes Shu until like she sees him with the girl that's been blackmailing him. I can't remember her name because I didn't write Shoko. And then she kind of gets like all frustrated about it and heartbroken, but she doesn't really know that that's what those feelings are because she kind of suspects it. Kuranosuke normally does cheer her up. We talked about how there's like redevelopment plans, and the mom, the building owner is like, yeah, I'm planning on selling it. So like, well, what if we
buy it? Yeah,
Kuranosuke is like, no, this place is awesome.
Yeah,
it's like retros. It's like from the 1920s. You can't let them put up another hotel here. So it's like, you guys need to raise the money and buy it back yourselves.
Like they were like, oh, I've never lived in a hotel before. It's like, you're not gonna live at the hotel.
They were joking at that point.
Oh, were they? I took it serious
because they were like, no, we know this was. We're not. We read the newsletter. But so he's like trying to get them to raise money to by the house themselves. The manga artist is like, I'll put the down payment down if my new series is doing well.
Yep.
Because my volume collections, I'm not selling those right now, but I've got a new series. If it's a hit, I'll buy it, but you can't necessarily rely on that. They try to sell some like stuff like, I don't know, China sets they have built up from over the years at a flea market.
Try to buy some like retro.
Yeah, but they end up selling a little like jellyfish doll that
Little Clara's.
Yeah, Little Clara's. No, they each have their own name.
One was Sissy, I think.
Yeah, those are the only two that got names, Clara and Sissy. But and then that turns into Tsukimi reveals that when her mom died at a young age, like shortly before that, they were seeing jellyfish, and she said that she would make her a jellyfish wedding dress, and that all girls grow up to be beautiful princesses. Mm-hmm. So then they start to make a
dress.
Yeah. So Kuranosuke sees a picture that Tsukimi drew of a butterfly, or not butterfly,
a butterfly,
jellyfish. I don't know why. I don't know how butterfly came in, but of a jellyfish. And he's like, this would make a great
jellyfish
skirt.
Or butterflies of the sea.
Anyway, he's like, this would make a great skirt.
Yeah,
we should make this. Mm-hmm. Because so they work on trying to make one, and then they're like, if we make this, we could sell this. Possibly, we could start a fashion line, and we'll make billions, and we'll
buy the place and open stores all over the world.
Yeah. So he convinces them. They make 2 dresses.
Yep.
And they enter into a fashion contest thing. And they win with the jellyfish dress. And then the mom comes home from her travels and is like,
I'm not selling.
I'm not selling. And that's the end of the show?
That's the end of the show.
So that, I think, is the weakest part of the show, is that
it just ends.
There's no real resolution other than, they're not going to sell, and maybe they'll start a fashion brand.
Even the beeline with Shu and Shoko, it's just like they both get on an airplane to go somewhere.
Yeah.
But he's like with his uncle.
Yeah, it's not, they just happen to be on the same commercial flight.
Yeah.
Is the only, like, it's not,
there's no resolution to that either.
Yeah, so...
Do you want to bring up the uncle?
The uncle is a prime minister whose approval rating just keeps tanking.
He is below, he's like in single digits.
Yeah, at one point he was 9%, and I think at the end of it he's at 5% approval rating.
He's like, I'm below double digits. Nobody's going to take me seriously anymore, so I'm just going to go on vacation.
Yeah, and he's fully supportive of Kuranosuke's cross-dressing.
A little too supportive.
A little too supportive. He's like, you're adorable.
He's a weird guy.
He's a weird old man.
I can see why his approval rating is single digits.
I think his approval rating is that he's against women in the workplace.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he's like, that's the problem. All these women are getting jobs and they're not marrying as early. And now 40% of the male population is unmarried. It's like, all right, dude.
Okay.
Piss off, first of all. All right. Women in the workplace is not the reason why they're not getting married. I think the reason, if that's the case, I think that means your workplace ethic is probably terrible, because Japan has got bad crunch issues.
Yeah. I don't think you're being, what do you call that? I can't think of the word right now. You're not blowing any minds saying that.
Yeah, no, it's... So anyway, Uncle, whatever. His views are not necessarily the show's views. Yeah. So I'm going to look past that for now. But again, another thing that I think it just sounds a little dated for the show's message there. It gets a little muddled with some of that, which I think is fine because it's a complicated issue. There's no right. If there was a clear, obvious right answer, other than, the obvious right answer is just let people be who they are. But like when you get into the nitty-gritty details, it's hard to persuade some people, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I don't want to overcomplicate or oversimplify the issue. That's kind of the show that we talked about. It's funny, it's heartfelt.
It's a rom-com, it's got some drama to it.
It's got some romantic tension. Oh, I would guess I could say Kuranosuke is definitely like sort of has feelings for Tsukimi, but he's like, I thought I was past all this, and now this like plain looking.
He's more like mad about it. It's like, why do I have feelings right now? She's not doing anything. She's looking at the moon.
She's looking at the moon.
Why do I think this is cute? I thought I was done with it.
She's just staring at a jellyfish in a tank. Why? How? Why am I attracted to this person? Which is
like he sees her like wrapped in bed sheets, and he like has a heart attack.
Like my heart won't stop beating fast. This is weird.
He's just mad about it. But it's great because you're like, come on, dude, you love her.
He almost kissed her at one point when she had her eyes closed, and she's got no idea. And he was like, "Wait, you had no idea that I almost did that? Are you kidding me?"
She went stone mode. She loses all machinations in her temporal lobe or something.
Yeah, I don't know. They go into some scientific explanation for their petrification state.
See if we missed anything.
My one note, or my note about like my problem is the weakest part is that it doesn't have an ending, which is unfortunately something you run into with one season animes.
Yeah,
because it's hard to get a second season, and then a second season is not normally enough either, and it's even harder to get a third season.
Yeah. Kind of going to issues. Some of the maybe themes were kind of muddled, or like I didn't agree with, because there's a lot of talks about like outer beauty and like, oh, I need to be beautiful.
Yeah,
it's like I feel like they did.
I feel like the message should be anyone and everyone is beautiful if you can. You just have to highlight your strengths.
You just have to be confident and show it or something.
Yeah,
I don't think they quite hit that mark in the show. I think they're starting to, but I think they still kind of pointed out more outer beauty rather than inner beauty. But I feel that's not a huge criticism. It's not like takes me out of the show. I just feel like it's something maybe you could have done a little better.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the muddled thing. When we were talking about like the presentable and stuff like that, that's kind of where it comes in as like, okay, well, he's just trying to get them to put in the effort into, but I think he takes a little far with some of it. It's, but I don't. You're right. It's a little muddled or a little like you're not quite hitting the right spot. But also, Kuranosuke is only like 18 or 19 or 20 himself. He doesn't have the world figured out.
That's true. He's a college student.
So it's just put it on the character instead of the writer, I guess. We haven't read the manga, so we don't know if they expand upon this theme or correct themselves or where it goes from here. I'd be interested in reading this manga, but
I think that was my main issue, other than the fact that there's no real ending. That they didn't quite hit the message or the theme.
Yeah, I think you're right. They're a little off on the message there, but all in all, now I have in my notes rating this a little bit further down in my notes rating this show.
Okay.
Now I would like to note that our feelings towards this show, like I love this show.
Yeah.
But I think I would only rate it like 8 or 7.
Okay. Again, there's that sentimentality to this. I would probably go at least 8.
Okay. Now, and I would like to say
I probably have it as ranked as a 9.
Yeah, because I would say again, this is personal feelings versus rating. They're different. Mm-hmm. You can love something but still think,
So I love this anime. It's probably like an 8.
Yeah, I would say an 8 or a 9 at the strongest, but. Our emotions kind of get conflated in there as opposed to looking at it objectively. I skipped ahead there just because it seemed appropriate to bring up that rating versus feeling there. Do you want to do dibs count?
Sure, go ahead.
I've got Tsukimi. I've got Kuranosuke. Do you have Shu?
I have Yoshio.
You have Yoshio?
That's all I have.
I don't think any of us called dibs on Mayaya, Banba, Gigi, Cheiko.
I have Yoshio and that random mom that bought...
the Bata Clara doll.
Yeah.
Do I have dibs on Shoko?
I think so.
Okay. I don't know. It's...
Or did you give me Shoko?
There's a few that we tied on, and I definitely gave you at least one of them.
I don't remember who that was. You've got all the
I feel like I gave
ones.
you Yoshio.
Okay.
Either way, whatever. Dibs count.
It doesn't matter.
This show, it's not important for this show. It's more important, I think, in harem shows to get a dibs count in there.
That's true.
Or like love triangle, which this has a love square, but only sort of. Shu, Shoko, Kuranosuke, and Tsukimi.
Zucchini. Shoko.
Rhombus. Love Rhombus.
Boom. Boom. Boom.
It's almost trapezoid.
Yeah, it's like a square. Kind of. There's no connecting one, but oh well.
Okay. Let's go.
So, you got any notes you want to?
Yeah, I mean,
point out?
Sure, I have notes.
So I got one I want to point out. It's about the jellyfish dolls.
Okay, my one note is that I thought it'd be really funny because they hadn't yet revealed that it took a while to reveal what his name was to Tsukimi.
Okay.
And he has not revealed his name to the other girls. They still think he's a woman. So they realize
that is one of the better parts of this show. Is like they still don't know he's a dude.
Like they see that he's wearing fake boobs, and they're just like, he's a flat-chested woman. She's a flat-chested woman. She's lying this whole time. Because like when he like quote unquote has his heart attack or whatever, he's just lying on the floor like, get the Vicks vapor rub. And it's like,
that fixed a heart attack.
They didn't think it was a heart attack. I don't know what it, but they're for whatever reason that came up, and then they saw the fake boobs or whatever. But I thought it would be funny if the reveal was just like Tsukimi asked him what his name was, and he was just like, "My name's Derek." just like very clearly a man's name.
You almost spilled the beans because I'm assuming like Kuranosuke is like a male name.
Yeah. I believe so.
He fakes his name with the girl.
He's like Ko because they keep calling him meat because he brought them meat, and that's how he got into their good graces. He brought expensive meat. He's like, I got a perfectly good name. It's Ko.
They didn't believe that. Oh, that's a pretty name. Don't talk about Banba's quirk. She can like identify meats.
Oh yeah. It's not just she can identify which meats are the tastiest, and she can also identify what's most likely in a bag by looking at its logo and weight what the apparent weight is. Yeah. She's like, I think there's macarons in that bag.
Chico has sewing quirk. She's a really fast sewer.
Yeah.
I don't know if Maya has one.
She's the most athletic one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give her a superpower though.
Tsukimi just knows a lot about jellyfish.
Yeah. She's good at drawing them too.
She wants to be an illustrator.
That's her goal. That's why she's in Tokyo.
She's an illustrator, but it hasn't worked out.
Not yet, at least.
You like the part where Kuranosuke asks their jobs and like, we don't have jobs. We have allowances. Like, what?
What's your source of income? We have a very respectable source of income. Our allowances. And then they do work. They
help.
They sell stuff online, or they help the manga author or ink the pages and get caught up with their deadline. I think there's somebody else had something that they do some part-time as well, but
Gigi works at home. She like mails letters and stuff.
Oh, that's right. She mails
probably to Silver Foxes.
Mails junk mail to people or something. I don't know. But not all in all, not much money being gathered there. They're fairly broke. I don't really have any other notes other than best girl.
I got some quotes.
Okay, go ahead.
She's strong, she's beautiful, and she's a boy. It's a good line. Hop to, shop boy.
Hop to it, shop boy. That's great.
at the aquarium, Tsukimi was like, "Why did he hug me?" And she's like, "Oh, I was disturbing the peace. He had to take one for the team."
I was crying. He had disturbing the peace.
Also jellyfish dolls.
Yes.
So yeah, towards the end, they were selling just little jellyfish dolls they made for $5, and I'm just like, what if they upped the ante and made them like real jellyfish, where they would sting you? So we're just talking about how would you do that?
Because they can't afford tasers.
Yeah, like, what if they put
tasers?
That's too much money. So we'll just get like
we settled for a 12-volt battery and some loose wires,
some loose copper wire. It's a brilliant idea, I think.
Whatever, man.
Just a jellyfish doll. It stung me.
Well, what did you expect? It's a jellyfish. Best girl, toss up. Tsukimi or Kuranosuke. Either one.
It's Tsukimi. She's adorable. I love Tsukimi.
Tsukimi's great.
She might be my first waifu.
And then we can do. I haven't been adding the sound effect because I'm lazy, but do all aboard.
Yeah, ship of the week.
Ship of the week.
Ship of the
Fortnite.
bi-weekly.
Yeah. B. Kuranosuke. I would say Kuranosuke and Tsukimi is my favorite ship from the show.
I think that's what I would go with too.
I do like the Shoko ship though.
It's weird. I don't think we should like.
I don't.
That
Yeah,
ship.
it's it's definitely problematic.
But I'm like, I think you could they'd balance each other out. I think they'd be good for each other.
Yeah, like she could use some improving on, and he could use some improving on.
Yeah,
because she should be a little less forward, and he should be a little more forward about these things. Mm-hmm. She should be a little more prudish, and he should be a little less prudish. But that's this is not a note I have, but when Kuranosuke was complaining about all his previous friends, he's like, all they care about talking about is
it sex, fashion, and music?
I don't know if fashion was one of them, because he is definitely music and sex were two of them. And I'm like, well, those are still cool things to talk about.
I'm like, of course. I was like,
you think saying that talking about music is boring? It kind of depends on the type of music, I guess, people are into. But
I was just like, yeah, of course he doesn't hang out with them anymore. That sounds boring. And you're like, oh, music's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on the music, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. It does depend on the type of music.
I just think the strength of this show are its characters.
Yeah, I would say so. It's charming. It's a charming show.
Mm-hmm.
It's only 11 episodes.
We watched it in, was it 4 hours almost?
I feel like it was less than 4 hours, but maybe not. I guess it's later in the day than I thought it was, too. Yeah. We watched all of this the same day as the record.
Mm-hmm.
Labor Day weekend to date the podcast. Record time. Just like, what are we going to do today? We can get caught up.
Let's watch Princess Jellyfish.
Let's just do it. Let's just start it, because I know once we start it, that's always the problem. It's like, once we start something, it's like, yeah, let's keep going.
Mm-hmm.
But starting it is hard, because you're like, I'm not in the mood for that.
Oh, I was in the mood. I'm always in the mood for Princess Jellyfish.
That's not true. You were worried.
I was worried.
You're like, if we start this, then I'll have my suspicions either confirmed or denied that it holds up or not.
I just want to point out the music in this show's great too.
Oh yeah.
So the opening is a banger.
I wouldn't call it a banger. I would call it a bop.
It's a bop. Yeah, you're right. It's not a banger. It's a bop.
Yeah.
And the ending's a bop too. And then there's some really good background music in it too. I really liked it.
The background music is a little it felt like it belonged in a TV show from the 50s or something, if that makes sense.
Okay.
It was just, it was almost Benny Hill-ish at times.
They might have at one point actually played Benny Hill.
But it just kind of gave me that vibe at some points. It's just like, okay, but it's fun. It definitely fit the mood of what was going on.
I don't know if it got that silly.
No, I don't think it did not reach Benny Hill, but it was getting close.
I don't know if I had to agree with that, but I thought it was really good.
I didn't say it was bad. I just It's just there is a time where it's just like, oh, they're doing comical music for this.
It's a comedy.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't not necessarily comedy. Just by the fact that it's comedy, makes people think less of it. If that makes sense. Like
Okay.
there's no Academy Award for best comedy.
It's because it's all subjective.
Well, it's true. Comedy is subjective.
I guess all art is
But I just mean, like, I think
but-
it gets taken less seriously because
You're
it's
right.
comedy.
Mhm.
Because it's less serious. But, it doesn't mean that it's worse.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean it's not, the best song ever could be a funny song. But,
I was
there's...
trying to make a joke like, this movie's a comedy and it won Best Picture. I can't think of any good.
Did The Martian win Best Picture?
No, but it won Best Comedy at the Golden Globes.
That's what it was.
It's like, that's not a comedy movie, but it won.
Because it had jokes in it?
I guess.
Lots
There
of...
was some tongue-in-cheek stuff, but it's like, not a comedy, it's a drama.
Yeah. Everything's got some jokes in it.
Yeah.
Like, I would say there's even jokes like when we watched Halloween the other day. Like when the guy's trying to scare the kids away from the Myers house. That was a funny moment because he's just doing weird voices at those kids to try and scare them away.
And there was the pipe through the window.
Ben!
Sorry.
Nobody gets that. The only people who get that reference are the people who listen to the Blank Check episode about Halloween and David Sims' real life friends.
That was funny.
So yeah, I mean I would say go watch Princess Jellyfish.
Absolutely. Go watch this show. It's fantastic. It's great.
Streaming on Funimation. We watched a mix of dub and sub.
Oh, yeah.
Because we couldn't really remember exactly how we watched it originally. I think it was subbed.
I think it was subbed.
The dub is competent. Chew is played by Ian Sinclair, and he just sounds a lot like Space Dandy in it. That I loved it.
I thought the person who does Tsukimi was really good.
Oh yeah, Tsukimi was good.
I think
Kurenosuke.
that's kind of the other characters that I think were kind of lackluster.
Yeah. Well, and they were doing they're not a major part. Like I know Monica Rial did one of the voices, but I could not catch who.
I think she was Gigi. No,
Okay.
it wasn't Gigi. She might have been Mayaya.
Either way, it's like when you get a bit part, it's harder to really showcase. It's harder to care about it. First of all.
Also, a lot of times they're kind of played more for comedy, so it's like I want to do a bit with this character.
And the Japanese comedy doesn't necessarily translate to the dub very well, and they might try to change the jokes, and then the people translating animes, the jokes get lost in translation anyway, and then when you try to translate them, they don't really normally turn out for the best.
I would just say, if you're not a sub guy and you want to watch a dub, I think this is it's a good dub.
Yeah. We watched most of it subbed. We
Yeah.
watched maybe 4 or 5 episodes
3 or
dubbed.
4.
We were switching between them, and then eventually we're like, oh, I'm going to finish the disc out on dub because I don't want to go back to the menu a third time and change it. But then we watched the second disc as sub. So, I mean, we're getting close to what we like to call frag time. 60 minutes in, we're at 58 minutes or so. But this one I think might just be a shorter episode. We don't have as much to talk about on this one. We do need to reveal your number 4 favorite anime.
Yes.
So you made me recap my favorite animes last week. Let's recap yours.
So, to recap, my number 10 anime is Samurai Champloo. Number 10. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't remember. Sorry. Anyways, number 9 is One Punch Man Season 1. Number 8 is Neon Genesis Evangelion. My number 7 is Your Lie in April. Number 6 is Violet Evergarden. My number 5 is Gurren Lagann. And my number 4 is Princess Jellyfish.
Yep.
Gotcha!
It's
the reason why we did this episode.
It's like we need to either do it on the episode you reveal or the episode right after you reveal.
Yeah.
Just for the
That's
and
my
we
number 4.
wanted to watch it anyway because it's just been since the first time we'd watched it.
Yeah.
And the reason why I had my notes for ratings versus feelings is I would rate probably all of those shows except for maybe One Punch Man Season 1 is higher, better shows than Princess Jellyfish. But I know that you love it, so your top 10 list is your feelings,
Yeah.
and your ratings are more objective.
Yeah. Princess Jellyfish is my number 4.
Yeah. It's, again, hey, we reached frag time. We're at
frag time, baby.
Do we have a sign off for this episode? I feel like. We do. Yeah. Okay.
No, just go through the.
Yeah. I'm on my closing. So, don't forget you can watch Princess Jellyfish on Funimation. Mm-hmm. We're not sponsored by them, but that's where it's at.
You should be watching.
You should be watching Funimation. You can follow us on Twitter or at anime_territory on Twitter. Mm-hmm. You can subscribe to us on YouTube if you want, or don't, whatever. We're Anime Territory there. We are on Spotify, Google Podcast, Anchor, a couple of other places.
Mm-hmm. Just check your local podcast.
Yeah, check your local podcast. Call your senator and ask for more podcasts.
Check your local provider.
We're streaming on Twitch, not semi-regularly. Maybe, I think the plan is to try to stream the night before the episodes drop at midnight. Mm-hmm. Start at like 10 o'clock or 9:30ish, and then whenever you get off work, and go till when the episode drops, which would be midnight. Playing through Chrono Trigger on there. I would say we reached the halfway point of that in the last stream, so don't know how much longer that will last. I don't know what we're going to play after that. I bought an Elgato recently so I can capture stuff from the Switch or the any other video game consoles we've got. So that might be something that's going to be a whole nother setup I got to get figured out though. So
I'll worry about that later.
Right now we're just playing games on my computer. So, but that's the show. It's now time for commercial break.
Tequila.
Post note on the end of the podcast here. I've got to say what we're watching next week. It's going to be another movie double feature. This time we're watching A Silent Voice and Summer Wars. 2 movies I think we've talked about before.